Locker Room, with all the sports news you need, live.
Hello, very good, not afternoon, but evening to you. It's the Locker Room on the midnight, Crane to Georgia. Who sang that song again? I can't remember. Anyway, why did I say that for? It's just suddenly come into my head. Anyway, you're listening to, you're watching the Locker Room, because we're not going out on the regular now. It's Independence Live until 9 o'clock. I am here, joined tonight by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Graham Duffy. How's it going, Graham? It's been a busy weekend.
I'm all right. I've just pretty much watched football all day, watched the Celtic Livingston game, then watched Liverpool Man City, then watched Hibs Rangers. It's been a very, very good day of football, I have to say.
Cool. And also we have Mikey coming on as well. He is on the way back from the Hibs game, where the Hibs game just finished about 5 minutes ago or something. It finished Hibs 0, Rangers 2. Earlier on, it finished Celtic 4, Livingston 2, and Aberdeen 1 yesterday. So I would say that's the shock of the weekend so far, Graham. The week coming up 3-1. We'll get into these games between now and 9 o'clock, and we'll look back at disappointing. We're not going to win the Six Nations, by the way. We could just pack our bags and go home. So we'll get into that as well. And we'll touch upon the Women's Scottish Cup as well. All between now and 9 o'clock here on Indie Live Radio. So, Independence Live, sorry, my brain's elsewhere at the moment. And before Graham answers that, it's in the job. It's nowhere else. So we're here until 9 o'clock tonight. So, as I say, Mikey will be on his way back from the game, as you can see by his running commentary and the chat, and it's brilliant to see. So let's begin at Easter Road tonight, Graham. As I said to you before the show, I missed the whole of the first half. I was coming back from Celtic Park this afternoon, but apparently I never missed much in the first half. I think they all kept it to till I get back home, till I saw the second half, and it was an exciting game. It was end-to-end for 1 minute, and then the next minute, I don't know what happened to us. They went down to 9 men. But so, Graham, what was your take on the first 45 minutes, Henry?
I mean, I thought Rangers controlled the game. I didn't think Hibs did well enough in that first half. Didn't really create enough chances on Jack Butland. I think Rangers did deserve to probably go on ahead at the interval 1-0 up. It was a very debatable penalty, though. I can't deny that. I don't think there's a lot in that. It's a coming together of Obita and Sterling. I don't think there's a lot of contact. I think Sterling goes down a bit too easily for me. But I suppose once it goes to VAR, he's not going to return that. But I think it's very harsh. Obviously, Tavernier turns up, takes the penalty. David Marshall makes a good save, but Lundstrom manages to score. But I thought Hibs didn't do enough in that first half. Rangers deserved to be ahead. But second half, I thought Hibs started thinking quite well. I would as well say that there was an incident in the first half, unfortunately for Martin Boyle. He got taken off injured with a head knock after a collision with John Souttar. But again, it was accidental. There was nothing in that from Souttar. But hopefully Martin Boyle's okay, because it did look a very nasty one. So hopefully he's all right. But second half, I think Hibs actually did start the game a lot better. I thought they pressed a lot higher up the park, which I think obviously Nick Montgomery told them to do. I thought Ewan looked decent second half. So yeah, I thought Hibs did start the second half a lot better. But then the game changes with that first sending off. And again, I think that's very, very harsh. And I think the Rangers players have got Obita sent off there. He goes in for the challenge on Matondo. There's not a lot in that, I don't think. I don't think that's a second yellow card. But if you look at the Rangers players' reaction and the way that they surround Stephen McLean, I think they get him that second yellow card. I think McLean's got to be stronger there. That's not a second yellow card. Then a minute later, Mariah Welsh gets sent off, straight red card. And again, I think that's harsh as well. Again, yes, it's maybe a bit reckless. I know there is feet off the ground, but again, he wins the ball. I don't think there's any intent there. And again, I don't think that's a sending off. I think it's very harsh. So I think his have been done a bit hard done by there. I don't think either of those should have been sending off. But I do think Rangers deserve to win the game. They get the second goal through Fabio Silva. Decent finish. But I do think Rangers deserve to win. But again, we're talking about officials. Because I think they've got decisions wrong in that game again.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I've got to take your word for that, by the way, because I haven't saw a replay of the penalty incident. I don't know why, or maybe I missed it or whatever, but I never saw the penalty incident. I saw James Tavernier missing the penalty and John Lundstrom hitting the rebound into the back of the net. And I suppose that was a good time for Rangers to get the goal, because I'm right in saying that Rangers scored 15 minutes to go in the first half.
They did, yeah. And like I say, I think it's very harsh. I really don't think there's a lot in that challenge from Obita. I think it's very, very harsh. I mean, if that's the other end, I'm not convinced that's given. And I think you're expecting Tavernier to score that, but it's a decent penalty save from Marshall. It's a bit unfortunate that obviously it rebounds out to Lundstrom, who tucks it away well. I thought Lundstrom was excellent today. He got man of the match, and I think he deserved it. But I just can't help but feel that second half Hibs were better coming out of the game, and I just can't help feel that decision for the two sending offs changes the game. Because at that point I thought Hibs were doing a lot better, but those decisions, I mean, that first one, like I said, Rangers players surrounding McLean get Obita sent off. There was no need for it. I think McLean has folded there, and I don't think it's a sending off. I don't think either of them are sending offs.
Yeah, you're giving to our usual punters. I'm going to call them season ticket holders now. I don't know if you can get season ticket holders on YouTube, but there you go. George, you gave me lags. He's watching on YouTube. And Paul Donaldson, well, yeah, of course. You have got a lot to say about yesterday's game against Aberdeen come out. Don't worry, Paul will come on to speak about that in a wee bit. But yeah, it is a bit weird, that kind of like setup as well. I'm sure, I think we'll come back to speak about that later on, because I'm sure that Graham has views on it the same as me. And I think all Aberdeen fans would be looking at Dave Cormack and say, hey, mate, what are you doing to our club? But we'll come back on to that soon. I don't know why I kind of put on a voice here. I don't know. Maybe I'm going insane. Don't answer that. So, yeah, I mean, as I say, I can only comment on the second half, Graham, but like I was listening to the radio on the way home, and I didn't think Hibs Craig Jack Butland down in the first half.
No, they didn't. They were very flat, I thought, for a Scottish Cup game. I thought East Road was bouncing for that first 10 minutes or so, but they never really got into their stride. I thought they allowed Rangers to pretty much dominate the game and dictate the game. And of course, the penalty decision changes that. Once Rangers go 1-0 up, Hibs have got to start chasing the game, which I think they did second half. Or like I said, I think they started the second half a lot better. But I thought Hibs would have been a bit better first half and really come out firing on all cylinders. I mean, I did say on Friday that I thought Rangers would win, but it would be difficult. But I don't think Hibs made it difficult enough in that first half. They didn't press them. They didn't really get in their faces. Maluda was quiet, who I've been a massive fan of. Didn't get Marcondes on the ball. Martin Ball didn't get on the ball enough. So, yeah, I thought Rangers controlled that first half, and they did deserve to go 1-0 up, although I think the penalty was fortuitous, but they did deserve to go 1-0 up. But second half, the game does change, and Hibs were better, but those sending offs, there is no doubt, changed the game in Rangers' favour.
Yeah, I mean, Hibs scarkicked the game well in the second half. Hibs had a free kick by, and I've not wrote down who took the free kick. Graham, I'm looking for your VR assistance there, but they had a good shot. It was well saved by Jack Butland, Glenn. I don't think you were going to beat him from there. And then, as you said, the game changed in about, it's a final game, as I say, it changed in about, 15 minutes, 10 minutes as well. And I don't think that the second thinking of was a red card. I mean, if it was a high foot, you would say, yeah, dangerous play. But if you look at it again, Graham, I mean, it was a It was a kind of rash tackle, you would say, but his foot is still on the ground. I mean, I mean, maybe the rules are changing every 5 minutes now. I don't know, but I mean, I always felt as though when your foot's on the ground, it's okay, but when you leave your feet, when you put your feet high, it's a red card.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard them say on commentary it's the speed that he came in at. I don't think he's not going to do Lundstrom. Like,
No.
he's gone in there to try and win the ball. I think he has got a touch on the ball. And it's maybe just a follow through, but I think that's very, very soft. And I genuinely think if you're giving red cards for that, then the game has gone soft. I said it on the group chat. I didn't want to come in here and talk about officials, but yet again, they've played a massive part. And I know that if Mikey comes on, I know that he's raging because of the group chat. And I understand that, because I generally think this, as I said, the second yellow card for a beater, it's the Rangers players that get him sending off there. If they don't surround the referee, I don't think he's going to his pocket there. Because for me, he looks like he's not giving a yellow card there. But the minute the Rangers players surround him and ask for the yellow card, he's under pressure to give it, and he does. I think Stephen McLean's got to be stronger there. Stick with the courage of his Givich and say, no, it's not a yellow card. What I'd be doing if I'm the referee is I'd be saying, right, you're on one more warning, one more challenge, you're off. Then that is a better way of refereeing. But to go to your pocket because you've been surrounded by Rangers players, that shows weakness for me. That's not a second yellow. And I said it before in the group chat as well, I don't think the sending off's a sending off either from Mariah Welsh. Yes, he's gone in maybe at speed, but he's not gone in recklessly, he's not gone in dangerously. He's tried to win the ball and he's caught Lundstrom, but that's not a sending off. If you're giving your red cards for that, the game's gone.
And Mick Montgomery get a yellow card, but I could see the point that he kind of lost at that point, because he knew that the game was over, Graham, at that point, and it was only a matter of time that Rangers got the second goal through Fabio Silva, and to be honest, the game was over by that point. But I could see Montgomery why he was a bit agitated in that, because I mean it was only 20 minutes to go in the game, so I mean it was in the biggest game when it was 1-0. And Hibs still had 11 men on the park.
Yeah, honestly, Hibs were doing a lot better second half. They pressed a lot higher. They were getting in Rangers' face. They didn't do that in the first half. They were doing better. But then those decisions changed the game. I mean, even at like 10 men, they still got a bit of a chance, because I've seen it numerous times where 10 men can still go and win a game or get back in a game. But as soon as it goes down to 9 men, the game's done. You know, Rangers need to see the game out. They get the second goal. Great finish by Fabio Silva. But I can pretty much guarantee that Nick Montgomery will have something to say about those sending offs. And I agree with him if he doesn't think either of them are sending offs, because I don't either. I genuinely think Stephen McLean has gone with the Rangers decision there. And I said it earlier, the minute the Rangers players surround him, and I always thought that if you surround the referee, that's a yellow card. And there's about 4 or 5 Rangers players that did that. Now, why they allowed to do that? That shouldn't happen. I think that's a decision that changes the game. But, I mean, listen, Rangers did deserve to win, but those cards changed that game.
And just to clarify that, I think what you're saying, Graham, is if the Hibs men, if Hibs didn't get any men sent off, it might have not changed the game, or might have changed the game. You never know. But like, I felt as though it just spoiled the game a wee bit, Graham, for a kind of quarter-final of a Scottish Cup.
It did. It's cup football. You've got to try and let things go. There's going to be emotion in a game. That's kind of what you want. And I did think Hibs showed that second half. But I just think that first yellow card for a beater is never a second yellow. It's not often I agree with the commentators, but I did agree with what they said there. I don't think that's a second yellow card. Let that slide and just say to the guy, right, you've got one more. If you make another challenge, then you're off. That's fine. That's a decent way of refereeing. But to go to his pocket because basically Rangers players surrounded him, I think that's wrong. And I will keep maintaining that. That's what got that will be a second yellow card. If Rangers players don't surround him, I don't think that second yellow card comes out. But the minute they surround him, the referee thinks, I need to do something here, and he sends him off. I think that's a poor decision.
What do you think of I think it was in the first half, Graham. I mean, well, obviously, I never saw the first half, so it wasn't the first half, but it was the second half when McCausland get taken off, and he was wasting time as well. And to be honest, that should have been a yellow card because it was wasting time. But what do you make of the physio, Graham? Because when you see it back, maybe I'm kind of nitpicking again, I don't know. But when you see it back, the physio is actually kind of like pushing the Hibs player back because the Hibs player is trying to push like McCausland off the park. And that was when it was still 1 out to Rangers.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It's just time wasting. I mean, I do get why they do it, but for me, again, it's just, I mean, honestly, football's getting soft these days. It really is. I mean, some of these decisions are just mental, but I don't have a problem with Hibs players. It's just try and get, they want to try and get the ball in the park. They want to try and get the game built up again. So I completely understand why they did it. All right, Scott, good to see you, mate. But yeah, I genuinely think that, I keep on saying it, the game is going soft now. Honestly, it really is. I mean, I said it before. I really hope to talk about officials on the show. I know that Mikey will when he comes on. But some of these decisions they're just, I said it on Twitter as well. Officials are killing the game. They really are. They're killing the game. There's no need for it.
I mean, it's going to be a case of that season, you just run about and don't tackle each other and just wait until you get the ball because that's the way it's going because you can't touch it. You can't go in for a 50-50 ball. You can't jump up for the head. You can only put your hands in your pockets when it's a corner kick. I mean, there as well just turning football into, I don't know, WWE or American football because that's the way it's going.
It's a contact sport. You're going to get challenges. Not every single challenge is a yellow card. Referees, I think, have to have a bit of discretion and think, right, maybe I can just let the game flow here. Now, I don't know if it's because they're under pressure from their peers that are watching the game. They think, right, that should be that should be that. But I use the word a lot, and I know this doesn't ever happen, but just use a bit of common sense. It's a Scottish Cup quarter-final. There's emotion. Hibs are trying to get back in the game. Rangers are 1-0 up. Hibs are fighting for every ball. Just show a little bit of common sense. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen. And this is another issue I've got. Like I said, not every challenge is yellow card, but it feels that's what's happening nowadays. Every challenge you get booked for, and you look at it and think, how is that a yellow card? Seriously, you are killing the game. And it is getting to a stage now where you're thinking, honestly, what is the point? Because it is just killing football.
Scott's made a comment on YouTube, thanks for watching, Scott, and he says that with the second reg, it's not a reg in my opinion, as he hasn't won the ball, but was in front of the player. But I mean, we come on shows now like this, Graham, and we watch the game, and we've been watching the game for years, and we don't know the rules now.
No, we don't. And this is what I said on Friday as well. I used the phrase that referees know the laws, but they don't know the game. Now, see if I said that as well before as well. I'm going to go back to this as well. This is why I would love to have an ex-player in that VAR room, because I guarantee an ex-player is telling that official that's not a sending off, and he could explain the reason why that's not a sending off. I just think again, you need somebody else in that VAR room to explain these decisions, because referees, for me, they're just losing the plot. And it's, see if it was like every few weeks they made a bad decision, then fine, I get it. But it's every single week we come on this show, or there's other shows as well, and we all talk about officials. And it gets to a point you just think, why do we keep doing this? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I love doing the show, and I love talking to you and Mike and all the guys that come on here and all the chat. But every week, all we do is talk about officials. Why? Because they're awful. They are. I know they make mistakes. I get that. But again, you've got a guy in that VAR room who's got a monitor there that can say, do you know what? I think you've got that wrong. Go and take a second look at that. And again, today that didn't happen. They just made their mind up that that's a second yellow card. That's a sending off. And I think they've got both wrong. And I'm a Hearts fan. I want Hibs to lose. But I want to see football played the right way. And this isn't it. That is not a sending off. No chance.
I was speaking to you a few weeks ago on the show, Graham, that I can't remember what team it was, a team down south, and I think it was like the championship or something like that. And they've actually employed an ex-ref, right, to explain the rules, to explain why certain players has got sent off. So even clubs, even clubs in England or Scotland or around the world, they don't know what the rules are now.
That was Mark Clattenburg, who's been employed by Nottingham Forest. Now, I didn't know you could do that.
No.
I mean, imagine every club did that, had an ex-referee of that in their room. I mean, would that be a good thing? I don't know. But that was after Nottingham Forest against Liverpool last week, when Liverpool won the game in the last minute with a decision that was made 2 minutes before that I don't think had an impact on the game. But how are Nottingham Forest allowed to employ an ex-referee? I don't see another clubs. I don't see other clubs doing that. It's weird. It really is weird how they managed to do that.
I just think it's a waste of money, Graham. But obviously, English clubs is getting money to burn a hole in the pocket. You know. So, but I mean, as we keep going back to it, 9 men. Hibs up against get Rangers scored the goal and the flew, and I think it's been a good week for Rangers, like coming away from Benfica, getting out there, tweets with the second leg could come back at Ibrox next Thursday night, and then going to a difficult venue in the quarter-final of the Scottish Cup and winning 2-0, regardless if they were down to 9 men or not, Grim.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Philip, come on. He really has. I said it on Friday, he's turned it around massively. You know, on Thursday we did the show, and I did say at the time that I thought Rangers deserved to get the point. They've then come to a difficult game today, Easter Road. A game that I did think they would win, but they had to fight for that, as I knew they would. He's done a great job. And now they've got that second leg against Benfica at Ibrox next week, which I do think they will win in front of the Ibrox crowd. But honestly, the job that Cummock's done, you cannot downplay it. It's been a brilliant last few days. Obviously, they were disappointed to lose last week to Motherwell. But then in the end, there was no harm done because Celtic got beat by Hearts, so there was no massive harm done. But yeah, he's done a great job. And they will probably be favourite. Well, I don't know if they'll be favourites for the Scottish Cup now. I mean, it's going to be a great lineup for the semi-final because you've got Rangers, Celtic, Aberdeen, and hopefully, from my point of view, Hearts tomorrow. So you've got a really good lineup in that semi-final. It's going to be a cracking draw, whoever gets who in the Scottish Cup. But generally, Philip Cummock's done a great job and fair play to him.
And don't forget the draw for the semi-finals on after the Hearts and Morton game tomorrow night, and also at half-time, or maybe it's before the game, I can't remember. You have got the Women's Scottish Cup draw as well. So both draws are on the Google, the BBC, while I'm watching EastEnders. So welcome back to maybe talk about the Hibs Rangers game, because I think Mikey's got a lot to say for himself, and if he comes on, we might be on to about 9:30 tonight. A bit of extra time late enough, Aggie going by VAR. But another game was spoiled by, well, it didn't really spoil the game, Graham, because it was a kind of funny game. It was a kind of old-fashioned cup tie, you would say, at Celtic Park this afternoon, where it finished Celtic 4, Livingston 2. Now, I just want to get this out of the way because I know that VAR is your favourite subject, but all the goals were checked by VAR today. All the goals.
See, this is why, and I keep saying it right, VAR isn't the problem, it's officials that use it, but that is why you sometimes hate football, because football's about goals, it's about celebrating, and again, you are looking at every goal now and checking every single thing. It's not what it's there for. It's clear and obvious. I keep saying it's clear and obvious. And it did get a bit boring after a while that every single goal was getting checked. That shouldn't have happened. There were some cracking goals in that game as well. The 2 Livingston goals were really well taken. Obviously, Daz Maeda gets his hat-trick. Great performance from him. But it's just ruining the game because it feels like you can't celebrate a goal. Now, people will say, but, you know, if you do eventually get the goal, you'd celebrate it again. I don't want to celebrate twice. I want to celebrate once and see my team score. But it just feels that every single goal is getting scrutinised, that they're trying to look for any reason to chalk a goal off. And it does get boring. It really does. And if you're sitting in the stadium as well, and you don't know what's happening, and you said it on Friday as well, that it would be great to actually see what's happening, but you don't see it.
Yeah.
All you see is the screen that says getting checked for offside, but you don't know why. You don't know who for. It's pointless, and it is really frustrating as a football fan because you just want to see your team score, but it feels like every single game now they're looking for any minute thing to chalk a goal off, and it's not what it's there for.
I'm just waiting for them to chop a goal off because the guy wasn't in the seat behind the goal and they never saw the ball going in the net. But anyway, that's a different subject for another day. Jake on YouTube said the Celtic goals were offside. For all of the goals or just one or two? I think you might be talking about Maiga's first goal there. I'm not really sure. And Scott was saying on YouTube as well that VAR should have ruled out a couple of the Celtic goals. So that means all four of the goals maybe as well. So come back in and tell us what goals you think they were offside. Graham, what about you? You were watching the game on the TV.
I think the first goal was very, very tight. I couldn't really tell, but I did think watching it. I think it was the third goal, the winning goal. I thought he looked slightly off, but obviously I've not seen the whole lines drawn, but I thought he looked slightly off. I thought Maeda gave Michael Nottingham a really hard time on that left-hand side. Obviously he gets his hat-trick. I thought Nottingham was very poor, but I think Celtic does deserve to win. You know, they were the dominant side pretty much most of the game, but I have to give credit to Livingston. Because I said on Friday, I thought they'd get hammered by 4-0, but I thought Livingston were excellent today, competed really well. They didn't particularly sit back. They had a threat going forward. I thought Tete Yengi was outstanding. The equaliser from Dan Mackay is a great goal. Joe Newbley at right wing back is just mental. I don't know why they play him there. But the goal from Tete Yengi, the second goal, is a brilliant finish. I've seen some Celtic fans blame Matt O'Reilly. Matt O'Reilly's not a defender. I thought Yengi was brilliant for that goal. And at that point, you're thinking 2-2, Livingston could get something here. There are a couple of chances as well. But then that third goal kills it off. And the fourth goal as well is a bit harsh on Livingston because I don't think they deserved that. But I thought Livingston were great today. But Celtic defensively are very vulnerable. You know, when your two best defenders at the moment are John Scales and Stephen Welsh, you're kind of struggling. I thought they were really poor today against Livingston. But listen, Celtic got the job done. They're in the semis. But I thought Livingston were excellent today. Really, really good.
I'm actually quite surprised, Graham, that Livingston are basically going down to the championship because the Livingston team is, I think they were about 6'15", if you can get that. They're massive. Their subs were massive as well. The only wee guy came on was Anglo Shinnie and David Martindale. But the whole team was massive. So I'm actually quite surprised that the Livingston positions in the league at the moment. And I know Mikey was saying on Friday that Livingston's got to come and be defensive. I can understand what he's saying there, but I mean, in a way, that was Livingston's cup final because no one gave them a hope in hell of getting anything out the game to game. They put up a good fight.
They did, and it just shows us something about it. So there's something about the Livingston side. Now, where's that been all season? Because it does show that they can actually be competitive. Because I don't think anybody would have thought Livingston would have gone there today and done anything other than lose that game quite comfortably. And especially after Celtic were 1-0 up early on through Maeda, you're thinking, this will be a cakewalk now. But fair play at Livingston. You know, they fought back. They got themselves back in the game with a really good goal from, obviously, like I said, Dan Mackay. They had a chance in the first minutes as well from Obalai that hit the post, but that would have been ruled out anyway for a push. But I thought Livingston were great today. But where's that been all season? If they could have played like that for most of the season, they wouldn't be where they are just now. But it does show there is something about them. And I think David Martindale's got to take heart from that. You know, they've got big, big games to come now. I think, like I said, I think they are probably going to be down. But they've proved today on the back of that performance that if they can compete like that for the rest of the season, Livingston will give themselves a chance because I generally thought they were excellent today. They just need to be a bit better defensively. But it was a good performance from them. All right, Mikey?
Yes. Not too great, but thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, well, we'll come back and speak about that game and the Hibs game in a minute, because I know you've got a lot to say on here. We're on until 1:30, by the way, so it's plenty of time to get your thoughts in about the game. Graham, I want to get your thoughts about James Forrest, the forgotten man. Obviously, he's been there for 10 years, and then I guess testimonial game at the beginning of the season. He came on, and I thought he looked quite lively when he came on for Celtic.
That's the right word, lively. I thought he was far better when he came on. To be fair, I thought Nicholas Kuhn actually did well in the first half. Thought he was getting on the ball a lot, making decent moves and decent runs and stuff. But James Forrest just gives that a little bit more quality. And it's weird that he's been there for that long. And yet he does pretty much start most of the games on the bench. But I thought Forrest, when he came on, did make a big, big difference. But it's just, Diaz Almeida, obviously, I think that's his first hat-trick for Celtic, I think. And he took his goals really well. Like I said, he gave Michael Nottingham a really hard time. But fair play to Celtic. They got the job done in the end. They're in the semi-final. But I do think Livingston were a lot better than I thought they would be. I genuinely thought they would get hammered today. And they didn't.
Yeah, no, exactly. So Celtic won by 4-2, and I was actually quite surprised at Livingston approach to the game. But as I said on Friday, they would have had to go for it because it was their cup final as well. So yeah, I mean, on Celtic goes now, and they've got a game on Saturday against St Johnstone. Another team that's fighting relegation at the bottom of the league. So quick word about Livingston, Graham. I mean, you were saying that it's funny because Livingston, they must like the Scottish Cup better than the league, because I mean they beat Packet Thistle in the last round as well, and nobody was expecting that.
Cup football does that to you. They'll look at Aberdeen. They're not a great league side just now, but cup football just takes a bit of pressure off. And nobody expected Livingston to go to Celtic Park and do anything. And they've been really competitive. That's the word they would use. They were competitive. They had a threat going forward. Tete Yengi was outstanding. Midfield, they really did well as well. So fair play to Livy. I mean, they've lost the game, but they've got to take confidence from that for the rest of the season. They're going to be playing teams in and around them now. They've got to take confidence from that. And if they can produce that kind of performance the rest of the season, they give themselves a slight chance of staying up. I do think they're going to go down. But if they can show that for the rest of the season, they give themselves that bit of a chance. Because to go to Celtic Park, go toe-to-toe with Celtic and only lose in the last few minutes, they've got to take heart from that. They have to.
So final score today, Celtic 4, Livingston 2. And don't worry, Paul Donaldson will come back to speak about your team getting through to the semi-final, Aberdeen, and looking for a new manager. Scottish football. But we need to say a very good evening to Mikey. He's actually just got on his helicopter and went from East Road to his house. And now it's I've got the swear button ready, by the way, if you want to swear, right? As well, because I feel that, just let your emotion. No, if I don't let your emotions.
Keep it clean, Mikey. Keep it clean, mate.
The family show. Yeah. So me and Graham is now going to go away. We'll be back on Thursday night for the Rangers game, and for the next half an hour, it's a Mikey show.
I mean, I don't even know where I should start with this. I was at the game. I was at the game, unfortunately, and I think that was probably the worst refereeing performance I have ever seen in my life. That's basically all I can say. I think it was absolutely ridiculous. And I know I heard what you were saying when I was in the car on the way home, and I actually did think the Mariah Welsh one was a red card. That was the only thing in the game that I think the referee did get right. The penalty, I think, was a joke, but expected. And the Abita red card was an absolute disgrace. And I don't know if you were both watching it, but the amount of times that Rangers would get free kicks and then the same thing would happen to Hibs and they wouldn't be given was absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, that's what I'd like to say about that.
Oh, well, Graham, I'm very surprised by the way. I was expecting Mikey to take us up till 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Never mind, 5 minutes later. But Graham, you can speak about the first half, and we'll come back to speak about the sending offs as well.
Do you know what? I expected Mickey to be a lot harsher than that. I genuinely did. He's a lot calmer than I would have been. Now maybe that's young head on shoulders there, but he's a lot calmer than I would have been because I'd be raging at that. Like I said, first half, I didn't think Hibs did enough to create enough problems. I didn't think they got in the game enough. I didn't think they started the game well enough. But the penalty for me is a big game changer. I said it before, there's not a lot in that. I don't think Abita does a lot wrong there. It's two players coming together. Sterling does get in front of him, but I don't see a lot of contact in there. I really don't see a lot of contact. Once it goes to VAR, it's probably not going to go overturned, but I don't think that's a penalty. But listen, Lundstrom does eventually score the rebound, but I don't think there's a lot in that. And I said it earlier, I don't think the Abita sending off is a sending off. And as I said earlier on, it's the Rangers players' reaction that get him sent off. If they don't surround Stephen McLean, I don't think he's booking him there because you can see him when that challenge is made. He's not bringing that yellow card out. But about 3 or 4 Rangers players run towards the official. They don't walk, they run towards them. And that then makes the official's mind up that he thinks, I need to do something here, and he sends them off. That's what gets Abita sent off, is the Rangers players' reaction. That's a joke. And I said it earlier, I always thought that if you surround a referee, you get booked. But no Rangers player got booked. But Abita gets a second yellow card for that. It's never a sending off. As I said before, I'm a Hearts fan. I want Hibs to get beat. But I'm honest and fair. That's never a sending off. And I guarantee if that's the other way around, that wouldn't be given. So I think Hibs have been very hard done by. I haven't heard what Nick Montgomery's got to say about it, but I'm assuming he'd be raging. And he would be right. Because I don't think that's a sending off. And I think the Rangers players have got him sent off there. And I think Stephen McLean bottled that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that there was multiple. I did think that Abita was heading towards getting sent off. He was making some interesting tackles, to say the least. But I think that, as you said, just give him a final warning. And there was nothing before that to even warrant him giving the second yellow. And when he made the challenge, or the challenge, so to speak, the referee was not going to his pocket. It was the Rangers players surrounding him that changed his mind. And that was just the worst bit for me, I think.
It's a shame as well, Mikey, because obviously I was coming back from the Celtic game, and I had to rely on Graham's eyes and to tell us about the game and kind of what happened. I only saw the second half, but Hibs, started well. It was a kind of end-to-end game. But when Hibs get the 2 men sent off, 9 men, the game was absolutely killed. And it was only a matter of time when Rangers got that second goal, because Rangers were never going to lose that game when Rangers went down. When Hibs went down to 9 men. It was only a matter of time. And the game was finished by that point.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that we actually ended up leaving early because I could tell that things were going to spill over, because I was in the corner with the Rangers fans right next to us, and it was getting pretty bad. And by the time they went down to 9 men, I knew the game was over. And when we're at 10 men, the game's still on somewhat. But as soon as Mariah Welsh did that challenge, I knew it was a red card and I knew the game was over. So I didn't even see Rangers' second goal, which is probably a good thing. But yeah, I was really annoyed because of it wasn't even the major decisions as well. It was the fact that everything was going Rangers' way, it seemed. All the fouls, all the ones that Hibs didn't get. And I hate to come on sounding like I'm just being biased and Hibs lost, I'm raging. But, that's just how I genuinely felt about the game.
And you were saying in the group chat, Matt and Boyle took off. I don't know if you've heard anything after the game. I hope he's okay. It sounded very silly. I suppose that's why they argued 9 minutes on at the end of the first half. But you were saying that Rangers fans were sending some kind of horrible chants as well, and during the game. Glenn was talking about before he came on, the Hibs fans ran a vape onto the park. I presume that was to at one of the Rangers players because it was at the corner. Hibs had the corner at the beginning of the second half, and like that's no nice to see. Like, it doesn't matter if it's Hibs, Hearts, Queen's Park, but there's no room for that in Scottish football because we're trying to sell the product and we're trying to get new TV deals and all that. But when you see that, it's, people won't be interested in it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I think from both sides, the thing Rangers were singing when Martin Boyle was coming off, I think was horrible. And to be fair, where I was sitting, the Hibs fans around me were singing some pretty bad stuff as well. So I think I could tell that it was going to spill over. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some bad things happening tonight outside the stadium between the two fans.
Mikey, did anyone, I know it's difficult after that game, but did anyone stand out for you from Hibs tonight?
Not really. I think that we were really poor in the first half. Second half, we actually came out and we showed a bit more fight. And to be fair, I thought we were actually all right up until the 2 red cards. And as for good players, I think Malida was all right. Again, Marcondes showed some decent bits in the game. But overall, I don't think that the team were very good. We were passing to Rangers players almost every minute. And yeah, I think that we didn't play too bad as a team in the second half, but nobody really stood out. And I can tell you a couple of players who definitely didn't stand out in the game.
I think that would be easier, make it than the players that you gave pass marks to.
Yeah, I think that Elioan, when he came on, was very, very poor. He was trying to dribble past 4 people at a time and was passing it right to the other team. Joe Newell, who I usually really like, was not playing very well. And Mariah Welsh, who I've spoke praise about so many times, I think he was I don't think he was so poor, but I think he wasn't great. And then giving away that red card completely killed the game. And yeah, I don't think we deserved to win the game. I'm not going to come on and say that, but I will say that I think that the referee was a joke.
Mikey, you and me have had this conversation before about Elioan. Honestly, he must be so frustrating because there's times he looks really good and other times he would frustrate the life out of you. We've talked about this before. He must be one of the most frustrating players in the Premier League.
He is, definitely.
Yeah, Mike, I was just going to ask you from a Hibs point of view. I mean, you see Hibs more than me and Graham does every week. It must frustrate the hell out of you when they went to Tynecastle the other week. Then they beat Hearts. Hearts were lucky to get a point. Even Graham said that on the show. And that was away from home as well. And you played a big quarter-final tonight in the Cup, and that was at home, and it was very poor. I mean, I'm not talking about the 9 men and forget that as well. I'm talking about overall the game as well. Because, I mean, I was saying to Ian Flagg in the show that it's going to be a difficult game for Rangers. I was expecting Rangers to come in, but surely that's a chance gone for Hibs because, Rangers are coming off a big European game to fly back to Scotland on the early hours of Friday morning to prepare for a big game like Hibs tonight. That's basically. Am I fair in saying that's your season kind of finished in a way?
I wouldn't say it's finished because we still have top 6 to fight for, and if we actually start playing how we should be playing, then we could even push up towards the top 5. As I said yesterday or a couple of days ago, I don't think we will get above 6th. But no, I don't think the season's over. But I think that we've let multiple opportunities slip this season. In the Viaplay Cup semi-final, Aberdeen were down to 10 men, and we've seen how bad Aberdeen have been this season. And then we were the better team in that game. We couldn't finish our chances, and Aberdeen won. Tonight, Rangers didn't play very well. I don't know if you'd agree with me, but I don't think they played brilliantly. They did decent, but we allowed them into the game too much. And yeah, in the league, we've been too inconsistent, especially in that sort of middle part of the season. So I think there's still a lot to fight for, but we've given away too many opportunities this season. And although I didn't expect to win this game, I didn't think we could have won the game before. But if we were actually playing all right and the referee was somewhat competent, then you know what, we might have actually done all right today.
Are you a bit disappointed as well? Because that's twice Rangers have went to Easter Road, once in the league midweek game, and I think you get beat 3-0 in a Wednesday night game, and Hibs never laid a glove on Rangers, and that was when you had 11 men on the park for the whole 90 minutes. And then tonight, again, as I say, a big cup tie, and they just, I don't know what it is, they just collapsed, you know.
Yeah. So for that, I'm not hugely disappointed that we've lost twice to Rangers, obviously 3 times in the league. But I think it's the manner in which we've lost those games. The one in January, the 3-0 game, it was terrible because we, as you said, we didn't get close to them in any aspect of the game. And tonight, I think that we should have done better again. So yeah, I think that there's been opportunities to do better, but I'm not hugely disappointed that we've lost. I expected to lose. It's just the manner in which we lose these games, which on a different day we could have given a better challenge, especially with the European tie that they had.
Before we move on to the Aberdeen game, is Nick Montgomery still the man for Hibs?
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't put any of that down to him tonight. I think that he picked the right team, and I think it's a mix of the referee and bad discipline from our players that have completely threw that away, and also our poor performance. So I think that we, as a team, we should have played better. But no, I wouldn't blame Nick Montgomery for any of it, and I have to back the manager because you know what, he's the one that's going to lead us forward.
Sorry, I meant for the whole season. I never meant one game. I meant for the whole season.
Yeah. I still do back him because I think he's shown enough to actually to get the fans behind him. There's been a few games this season where people have turned, but his recruitment's been good, as I said, and a couple of bad performances isn't going to change my opinion hugely on him.
I think what might win more fans over, because I know, looking at the Hearts situation, like Glenn was saying about Naismith as well, I think what more fans will be sold on Nick Montgomery if he beat Hearts in that big derby game, because he's never beat Hearts before, and you've not beaten Hearts for a few years now. So, you know, just getting that win against Hearts would, you know, bring more fans towards the fan club of Nick Montgomery.
Yeah, I think that would hugely improve his stock because beating Hearts doesn't happen very often as a Hibs fan. But no, yeah, I think
that continue.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. But to be fair, I think that he's shown enough, and I think that there's a big win coming for him. He hasn't really won any standout games yet, but he's got quite a few over the line that we would have lost in previous years. But yet again, I think that he's doing the right thing. He's bringing in some good players. And we must not forget that he's had one transfer window and he hasn't got his own team, and he's got somewhat decent abilities out of them. Because looking at where we were under Lee Johnson, we would have finished bottom half 100% this season. He's got us into the top half, and we have a chance to extend our lead. We're playing Ross County on Wednesday, which I think we should win. And yeah, I'm happy with him as a manager, and I'm not going to change my opinion on him after I lost to the best team in the country at the moment. So yeah, I'm very happy with him.
Okay, let's move on to because we've only got about 10 minutes left. We're on until 9 o'clock tonight. Graham makes his beauty sleep before he goes back to the bingo tomorrow night. Gregor was saying on YouTube, I wasn't expecting Neil Warnock leaving after Aberdeen yesterday. Neither was I. But I'm thinking now, if Aberdeen got beat, I think he wouldn't have left. But anyway, that's like cynic in me. Graham, you were out yesterday. You were out after the Aberdeen game. You went to watch your second team, Pennycook. What did you make of that text message that you got about Aberdeen won the game? But guess what? Neil Warnock's away.
Weird. Just very weird. He's taken his team to a semi-final and then he walks away. And he did actually say in his interview that he was talking about this on Thursday, he was going to leave. So no matter what happened yesterday, he was going, which just begs the question, why bother coming in the first place? He's had 8 games. He's lost 4 won 2 and drawn 2, and those 2 wins were both in the Scottish Cup against Bonnyrigg and yesterday. It's just been a shambles from Aberdeen. Now, I said that when he came in, it was going to be box office, but I thought it'd be here to the end of the season and then another manager would come in. To leave after only 32 days is just a really strange decision. And it does beg the question by his interview, do they have somebody else lined up? And who is it? But it just seems to be a shambles. I mean, Dave Cormack is not coming out of this looking very good at all. Another manager that's failed miserably. They've got to get this appointment right. They have to get this one right, because if they fail again, it'll be an absolute disaster. But Neil Warnock has come up here, treated it like a holiday, and then left. It's just really, really weird. And for me, it doesn't only not paint Aberdeen in a good light, but it doesn't paint Scottish football in a good light either. That a guy from England has come up here, had 32 days in charge, won a Scottish Cup quarter-final, and then bolted. It's not a good look at all.
It's a bit like a car park, Graham. You can leave when you want as well. Mikey, before we come on to Mick Montgomery, sorry, Neil Warnock, because I know Paul's got a lot to say in this on the comments. Talk about the game overall. Do you think, I know that we talk about the shocks of the rounds and all that, right? But I said to Graham yesterday as well, do you think it was the shock of the round overall?
Well, we haven't seen the game tomorrow, so if Morton win, then obviously that will be. But yeah, I think that Aberdeen, I didn't expect them to win the game, as I said on Friday.
Fight.
And sorry, what were you saying?
Fight.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't expect Aberdeen to win on Friday. I expected Kelly to win. And when I watched that first half, Aberdeen were brilliant. And I said this, well, I was saying that Aberdeen were better than Kelly were bad, if you know what I mean. I think that Aberdeen played very well, more than Kelly played badly. I think that Aberdeen really showed togetherness, and that was what I kind of didn't expect. When I was watching it, I mean, they were the better team by a mile. And to go 2-0 up was huge for them. And when Kelly got that goal back, I actually thought that Kelly would come back into the game and then go on and win it. But Aberdeen, they showed character and they went and scored again and then won the game. So, yeah, I think that it's huge for them, but I know we'll get onto it in a minute. But it's just a mess that they've somehow managed to take a positive and turn it into a negative again. So, yeah, I think it was a very positive performance.
Graham, were you surprised at how poor Kilmarnock was yesterday?
I think you've got to credit Aberdeen. You know, they came out with a game plan. They did really well. They really forced Kilmarnock back. Kilmarnock weren't great. It wasn't their best performance of the season. But Aberdeen were far better yesterday. I know it's another game that Majowski's not scored, but Jamie McGrath manages to get a goal. Second goal was a deflection from Stuart Finlay, doing nothing about. But, you know, Graham Shinnie was outstanding yesterday. And I know that Paul's not happy with the yellow card that Graham Shinnie got that's going to make him miss the semi-final, which, again, is a really, really daft decision as well. It's never a booking for me. But I thought Aberdeen were the better side last night. They deserved to win the game. I thought they were the better side. Kilmarnock have had a great season, but yesterday was an off day for them. You know, they will probably still finish fourth. They've got bigger fish to fry. But that was a big game for Aberdeen yesterday. They had to win that. They had to get a positive, and they did. And then, of course, Neil Warnock decides to leave. It's just, honestly, Aberdeen are a really strange side this season. Because one minute you think, right, they're going to turn the corner now. They do it yesterday, and then Warnock decides to leave. It's just weird. Really weird.
Mikey, I was thinking, Graham, a few weeks ago, do you think players and managers come up here to say, well, I'm reaching about 35 and 36. You know what? I've always wanted to play for Celtic, Aberdeen and all that. Do they use that as a kind of stepping stone? Or do they use that just to say to people, I played for the team that I supported as a boy?
See, I think that it's a bit of a weird one because you hear that obviously Celtic and Rangers are such big clubs across the UK and obviously further than that. These other teams, obviously like the Hearts, the Aberdeen and Hibs and stuff, they are still big clubs, but there's no real appreciation for them down south. So I don't actually think that these managers really take it as a stepping stone. or players because they don't get the recognition for it. And I see it all the time from south of the border that they don't have any appreciation for the other clubs in Scotland. So I know that in Neil Warnock's situation, he really liked Scotland anyway. I know he had like a holiday house or something up here, and he'd always kind of liked Scottish football. So I think he took it as a challenge just because there was an open job for him. But I think that I don't think they take it as a stepping stone, especially for someone who's kind of winding down on his career now. I don't think he took it as a stepping stone.
But I mean, you must blame that me and Graham's favourite subject here, the TV deal, Mikey, because people only see Celtic and Rangers every week, no matter if they're playing against Hibs, Hearts, or Inverness. And that's why people don't think about Hibs and Hearts and Aberdeen and so on. They only see the kind of so-called big two every week.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think that BT Sport did a very good job of kind of alternating it back a few years ago, and unfortunately that kind of ran out. Sky Sports was really bad for that. I mean, they were showing like random Celtic games over huge games in context of the season, and it just seems like they pick out their fixtures before the season. Obviously, they kind of will anyway, but they'll pick a Celtic versus Ross County game over a battle for third, for example. And I think that is really, really bad because the international audience is not going to follow these other teams if they're only seeing Celtic and Rangers every week.
I mean, they didn't even show the second biggest game in Scotland the other week, Graham, Hibs against Hearts. And no disrespect to Livingston and Motherwell, but as I said in the group chat, if that game was played at Fir Park, it would have been better. But if you take the cameras to Livingston, as you know, Mikey, and I'm not going to take a pop at Livingston here, but there's no one there to watch that game.
Don't get me started on that. Seriously, I was raging when that Hearts game wasn't shown live. I mean, I'm kind of glad it wasn't now because Hearts were really poor. But I've said it previously, every Edinburgh derby should be shown, and it's not. They would never do that to Celtic Rangers, but honestly, it's a joke. Said it numerous times, it's a joke.
See, can I just quickly say something on that? I would actually be very happy to see that game televised. The only problem is it took over the spot of another game, another much bigger game. So see if that game was televised instead of the Celtic Dundee game. I would have appreciated that, but the fact that it was over the Edinburgh derby was the thing that really annoyed me. And I think they should do that more where they show the other clubs. It's just in the context of them not showing the derby over it. That was what was really weird to me.
So the last word goes to Neil Warnock because he's an old guy. So we'll give it to Graham because he's an old guy as well. But as you say, Graham, it's not it's basically like a car park. People can come up here, leave. I mean, you saw with Brendan Rodgers at Leicester and Steven Gerrard going to Liverpool. People can leave when they want and all that. And okay, people can say it's about money and all the rest of it. But I mean, people use Scottish football.
Yeah, it's just been a shambles. I mean, I think Warnock came up here, thought it would be quite easy. He'd settled, he steadied the ship. Has he really done that? I don't think so. I mean, he's managed to get his team to a semi-final and then walked out. But like I said, I can only assume that Aberdeen have got somebody else lined up. I know that Paul Donaldson said that he's read online that there might be an appointment imminently. Who that is, we don't know. But they need to get this right. They cannot fail again. If they get this appointment wrong, there'll be numerous Aberdeen fans raging. And the person that's going to fall out is Dave Cormack because he's got the last few wrong.
I'm sure we'll come back to this subject. We've got a couple minutes left on the show. I did want to run through the Women's Scottish Cup today. There was a game on. Mikey, Hibs got beat 6-2 by Rangers today. Livingston and your second team, Livingston, get beat 5-0 off at Spartans. Graham's second team as well. Packet Thistle 0. Hearts won. The other game is Celtic won 6-0 against Minclose away, and the draw for the Women's Scottish Cup is on Sports Scene tomorrow night after the Morton Rangers game. And also, we have got the draw for the semi-finals. Who will be there? Aberdeen, Celtic, Rangers, or will it be Morton and Hearts? Well, you can send it tomorrow night. Thanks for all your comments. We'll do it all again next Friday night. Thanks to Graham, and sorry, Mikey, could come back on your first Sunday show was a disappointment, mate. Cheer up. You're with me and Graham. You must be happy. So we'll see you next Friday. Have a good week. And, back in first game for the Rangers game. I forgot about that.